hopefully we'll remember all this next time.
Right.
Oh, man.
So welcome to the show, guys.
Got something in my eyeball. All right. You ready?
At least it's not sperm. I thought I almost got conjunctivitis.
I wish I had sperm in my eye right now.
Sorry. When we were on vacation, I was like, really? In my eye? Oh my God. I came out and it was so embarrassing because I thought I wiped it all off. I go to the pool, they're like, you got sleep in your eye. I was like, bitch, if you only knew.
Welcome to Comedy Sex Show. I am Tiara.
I'm Lola Bassinato, and I don't have sperm in my eye.
Yay!
And I'm Tim Moss, and I wish I had sperm in my eye.
I think I have an eyelash in my eye. I'm going to be picking on it all show long.
You know, we might win an Emmy for the writing on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's been going around, you know, these sex robots. And the problem is that these sex robots have these dead eyes, like dead staring eyes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm like, that is like teaching all of us to become necrophiliacs.
Oh,
we need,
good
like,
point.
if you're not able to, like, draw an eyeball that looks like it's alive, then just draw like we're sleeping, or like, ooh, you're so wonderful.
Or maybe
face,
eyes
and
that
that's
kind of
it.
move a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, dead eyes.
Because they do, they're like that.
Yeah, it's really scary. And for me personally,
Yeah, that's creepy.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to like be sexually excited with dead eyes. That's gross.
Well, yeah. I would say I wouldn't be really sexually excited with a robot, but then again, I have dildos, so I don't know. That might up my game a little bit.
I was going to say, attach it to a moving male
but I don't know. That's
robot.
kind of like, I really don't need the male, though.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like,
it could be fun.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just
you know,
a waste of time.
for like certain positions, and you need, you know, some kind of like body leverage and support. So it'd be cool to have that entire body, but
Right.
not the
Yes.
dead eyes, so that you could be like on
Brown
top
bag.
you could be on top of this. Yeah, like this really great penis that like moves, like his legs
That's going
lift
like
up
this?
and stuff like that. Yeah, or something. Or how most guys are when you're in that position.
making the cum
You know?
face.
So yeah, so they're just like this, and you're like fucking them, and you're like, oh, feel good, baby. And he's like,
Because that's what I
and then
I like the feel of the body.
yeah, and then the
Yeah.
robot can move, you know, with you and stuff like that, and you can program it faster or slower or something. Yeah, but not the dead eyes.
Yeah,
I
'cause
cannot fuck something like.
Yeah, right.
And could you imagine the AI being like, I'm going to come. I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming.
I am coming now. I am coming now.
Whoa, brace yourself.
Oh, that was the best I've ever had.
And it would be really cool if, you know, like those dolls that pee and stuff, like the penis actually shoots something and
Yeah.
then like slowly. Because I
Yeah.
like that feeling of
I
like
do
staying
too.
on the guy as he slowly.
The deflation.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, and
I do
so hopefully.
I gotta try that.
Yeah, and then you're exhausted, so you lay on his nice warm chest.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
And
the
then his
robot
eyes
has to be
looking-
warm.
I know.
Yeah.
How is it for you?
Yeah. Like, do these robots heat up, or is it just cold latex?
See,
don't know.
it would make more sense if they heated up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that would make
To a good,
more
what
of a
is it,
connection.
98.5
Cold
or
fingers
something.
are
Yeah.
awful. Let alone a cold dick.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that.
Unless I had
Yeah.
inflammation, that'd be really cool. You stick a cold dick up there,
Yeah.
you know, for inflammation.
Yeah.
And a cold yeah.
So
Oh, found this one.
many years ago when I was doing some reviews for Penthouse, I was sent some stainless steel toys. So I was thinking, I don't want to play with that. Like, what the fuck? And so they sent me like this whole email. Oh, you have to heat it up, you know, or cool it down, put it in the freezer. That's what it's made for. And I never had really played with one. So I'm thinking like, all right, I'll give it a shot. The kids were at Grandpa's house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. To do.
Time for the stainless steel.
So I'm telling my husband, I was like, hey, got some new toys. We're going to try it out. So I put it under Oh my God. I put it under the sink to warm it up a little bit. And I'm talking, like when my husband's in the shower. So I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna pick up the kids tomorrow at 2:30, blah, 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 blah. And I wasn't really thinking about it. We get in, a couple minutes had passed. So I'm thinking, it's probably like nice and comfortable. I almost burnt my pussy off.
I was gonna say, long story short, I branded myself.
It was one of those, wah! You know what I mean? And
Why don't I
then,
just have a curling iron?
FYI, don't try to do the opposite. So here I go. I'm like, I'm gonna cool it up.
Oh,
My husband is like, let's put it in the freezer. Then it gets stuck to the inside of my leg.
Like licking the line, licking
the pole. I know, right? Oh my God. So
That's classic.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's
before,
total fail.
yeah, that was a total fail on my end. That was years ago. Thank God.
Yeah, you might want to just warm it up and
Yeah.
cool it off
Yeah.
rather than heat it up and cold it.
Well, it should
freeze
come with
it.
a cord, and you can set the temperature.
Oh, that would be
Like a
interesting.
curling iron.
And then when you have a short, then you have a short and
Don't use in the bathtub.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, did it vibrate or anything, or it was just
No, it was terrible. And the funny thing is, I got so mad at it, I threw it in my closet, and it's still back there till this day.
Take it out, use it as a doggy toy.
Well, it's so funny because I've cleaned my closet several times since then, but I'm like, I just don't even want to touch it. I don't want to.
It might be hot or cold.
Maybe hot or cold, it might scar me or stick to me. I don't know.
At your next party, you should make a sign or tell the story and everything like that, and do an auction bid because it has touched your pussy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it has burnt you and
moneymaker.
froze you. So
Right.
you have two different skin types that are left unless you've cleaned it.
Would you like my DNA?
Yeah,
Right?
you're like, this has touched me. Let's
This has
open the
burnt
bid
me
at
and frozen
500.
me.
Yeah. Lola's personally used
She's
sex toy.
always thinking of a way
Money to
we
make
can make
money.
money.
I love it.
And you can even do a picture with you posing with her.
I know, help!
Show the scar that it left.
Horrible.
And then take bids. I'm gonna make it into a tattoo. So
I know. Who would like to design my tattoo?
Yeah.
So
Cover up
so
my
thinking
scar.
about toys that I don't know, it kind of makes me think. I posted that thing on our Facebook page about the male AIs that they're starting to
Yes.
make now.
Yeah.
And I just thought, it's really interesting because you're right. It does kind of reinforce that you don't really need human interaction.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without
Necrophilia
emotion.
or drugging somebody. That's when you get the dead eyes or the no eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does, it's kind of like taking all emotion and anything out of it and just
Yeah.
generic sex, basically.
Yeah. I remember when I was an escort, those guys that didn't want any of the eye contact were always the freaky porno dudes.
Wow, yeah.
And there was
really?
That
always
means they've
the
got a
most-
lot to hide.
Yeah, a lot of boring. And then I always appreciated the ones that the looking in the eyeballs was the most important thing to them. Yeah.
I think eye contact can be extremely sexy and very sensual.
agree.
Oh, hell yeah.
However,
Oh, yeah.
I also can find it very creepy sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, you don't
You
want
know?
the cat
Like,
stare.
yeah,
you
go
know?
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, I can't have sex with animals in the room.
oh, yeah.
I can't. It makes me very uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
very
'Cause they
uncomfortable.
know what
my-
you're doing. And
my
they're judging
cats-
you.
I
Yeah,
feel
my
like my
cats
dog
always
is
seen
like,
it.
oh, come on, really? It's not like that.
Either,
It's-
yeah, you're
arch your
doing it
back a
wrong.
little. Like,
Judging
Let
you.
me show you how it's done.
Like, what's taking you so long?
yeah.
No, but
Alright.
my cats have always been an audience. They've seen it all.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if your cats could talk.
Thank God they can.
Now they,
That's why they can
mine
watch.
is there and there when I'm masturbating because I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna masturbate. She's sleeping anyway. She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Every now and then, though, that if the bed gets rocking too much, she'll be like,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
my
funny.
cat jumped off the bed last night.
My dog basically looks at me like, as I'm shutting the door, like, this bitch. Again? Again?
He goes out, shuts the door
I
behind him.
know.
never satisfied.
I know, right? Yeah, the AI thing is really interesting, though, because I actually just had this conversation on the way over here with, how scary it is, because if we are so great at programming, and I mean, it's the basis of every sci-fi movie that's out there.
Absolutely.
But like, if we're so great at creating this intelligence, and it does start to think on its own and comprehend on its own, where does that leave us?
Right.
Especially,
Absolutely.
like
Why would they need us?
Yeah.
Like we said last show, if you're starting to use actual biological living tissue, like, you know, you can like stem cell something to grow in a petri dish,
Right.
and then if you do that with all body parts and start putting them together,
Like a Frankenstein.
right,
Yeah.
right, and then you just implant the chip in
Yeah.
an actual biological brain body. Is it a human being and is it alive?
Yeah, right.
And when is it a human being?
Yeah,
if you grew it in
when
petri
do you-
dishes as opposed to in a womb with an
Yeah.
egg.
Yeah. Is
Or
it like
again,
a moment
it's
of
that
consciousness?
question-
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna
Right.
And
say.
how do we define consciousness?
Well, not very well by.
Yeah, not dead eyes.
Not dead eyes.
Dead eyes is a giveaway, no consciousness.
But see, then that's what she's talking about, is you almost want some consciousness in there, in those eyes.
You need that sparkle, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're fucked.
And then you'd have,
And you know, like if you've ever looked at a picture of a dead person, you know, like face on when they're alive with the face, and there's such a huge difference. And
Absolutely.
like even immediately after, when you take that picture, there's something about that life that's
gone.
yes,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
So there's something there.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, it's like an electric charge or something that humans give off.
It's almost like it plumps you up more or something, you know? So
Kinetic.
So we want to put computer chips in sex dolls so they can take over the world.
right, exactly. Gosh, wouldn't that be crazy though? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
You know, so it's funny, when I was in Pittsburgh, they actually had the driverless Ubers. And I
Oh
had never seen
my
the
God.
Yeah,
I'd be still
I've
afraid.
never
That
seen
would be
those
creepy.
before. So basically, well, I wasn't in one. The person in front of me, I was at the airport, caught the driverless Uber, right? So the guy that was driving me says, basically, it's a complete computer program.
Right.
And it has like this huge thing like on the top of the car. It kind of reminds me of like, you know, on the ships, that thing that on the
Oh, yes,
like
yes.
it's one of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things. I don't know the
Like a
proper
radar.
name. I'm
I
sorry.
don't either.
Yeah. So yeah, and it does all that business. And I said, so what is the person in the front doing? And I looked over, the guy's reading. Like, he's just reading. So apparently, should anything go awry, homeboy who's reading is like takes over and manually drives the car.
Oh my God.
Right.
like
so
10 seconds behind what the automatic thing he was doing already.
Yeah.
That's not fast enough.
right.
After it's already
essentially-
crashed
I
and
mean,
went
yeah.
over the
well,
bridge.
I was thinking, what if somebody's so into an article, sipping their coffee, and they
Right.
don't recognize the signals?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what
that
I
too,
mean?
yeah.
Or like, yeah, it was kind of bizarre. Part of me wanted to go in it just to,
just to
have the
experience
experience it. And there was part of me that was like, okay, what if this fucks up and it takes me somewhere I'm not supposed to go?
But see, I love that. Now, in some ways, I love that because that would be the epitome of cruise control.
Oh,
Where you just
absolutely.
punch in, like on your GPS,
Yes.
take me here.
Yeah.
And the theory is,
Yeah.
right.
But
And
you
the-
got to make sure that GPS is working.
Right.
Yeah.
And the theory is those computer programs, the algorithms are so great that there won't be any accidents, there won't be traffic jams, none of that. That's supposedly supposed to be
So
so
it
fantastic.
communicates with other computers about the traffic.
Right. So basically what it does is I guess it kind of sees like
Yeah.
everything around it and
Including
That
sex
would be
dolls.
great because then it could start going.
right. Exactly.
We're gonna make a pit stop for the sex doll.
Yeah.
Pick that up
Yeah.
and keep going.
Have to
Little
pick up
Uber
another
car, yeah.
passenger. Take me to the airport.
They start-
Want to have sex?
I know. Oh, imagine there's going to be AI prostitutes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The agencies
Oh,
will
for
have
sure.
have their
Wow.
stable full.
Well,
So
hell,
what would
they're
you
already
like, a
doing
blonde, a
stripper
brunette?
pole dancers. Like this weekend, there's some club that has some robot pole dancers.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
there's a party going. Yeah. I don't think they're like the full-bodied girls. I think they're just like the stick robot thingies that like gyrate up and down a pole or something. But
my
yeah,
goodness.
there's some.
And
some
that's,
club around
and
here
men
that's
are
doing it.
masturbating watching this?
Well,
or
you're not
something?
supposed to masturbate. At a
Well, I mean,
strip
they're
club.
getting off. They're enjoying it sexually.
I wonder
Probably the
how AIs are
high-tech
going to give
guys.
lap dances.
Yeah.
Probably at the computer show at the Javits Center. All those guys.
Wouldn't
at the
that be
robot
funny?
show.
Like you're going into like a strip club in the future, and everybody has like the virtual reality things, and
Yeah.
you don't see anybody. You just see a guy's hands going like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh, and it's just a bunch of men just sitting up there, and there's no women there. Just
Yeah, just
virtual
virtual reality.
Wow, that's gonna be weird. It's coming though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd much
literally.
rather have that than like live tissue that you don't know whether it's alive or dead or
See,
Frankenstein.
that kind of fascinates me though. Like I know it's like it's a little bit creepy, but that whole idea that you can actually grow something in a petri dish. Now they had to have grown humans.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
They've had
Well,
to.
they've
they're
cloned a
growing
monkey now.
organs,
They've
aren't they?
cloned twin monkeys, and so they swear they're not cloning humans. That they're
Yeah,
just going
right.
to experiment on the monkeys.
Yeah, sure.
Which I think is bad enough.
Yeah.
You shouldn't experiment on monkeys. They're social animals and
Yeah.
feel pain. But supposedly they're not cloning humans. But
Oh
right,
please, you know they are.
please,
Probably
hell
somewhere
yeah.
deep in the depths of Russia,
Oh,
or
hell
like
yeah.
Ukraine or something. Or
Maybe there's a reason why there's certain countries where all the people are just gorgeous. Maybe they've already started
Yeah.
cloning, and only gorgeous clones get.
Started genetic
Yeah.
testing there. and-
fuck America, like those
That's
fat
for the
ugly
infidels.
bastards.
Yeah, and then they send their clones over here and they have babies.
Yeah, what's gonna happen to our? Oh my gosh, imagine that.
Well,
Just a
also,
whole clone
socially,
army.
Yeah.
socially, even like having the like robot prostitutes and stuff. How would that affect society too? Like with
Well, it kills human interaction.
Yeah.
We will have zero social
which
skills.
the internet has done enough of that, or part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you add that element onto it. It kind of separates that whole social interaction completely.
That's one way of looking at it, but another way of looking at it is if the AIs and everything are so prevalent that actual human interaction is going to be worth even more. So, like, you could get a
Yeah.
cheap AI prostitute for $2 an hour,
Uh-huh.
but when you want the real thing, because everybody's always
Called
going to
Tiara
want
right.
for
what's
$3,000.
right, what's the elite, you're going to be paying up the wazoo
Yeah.
for the real something.
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
even
So
go out to
that-
dinner
Right.
Right.
and have
Right.
somebody to talk to.
Because
Right.
I'm
But I'm
sure
wondering-
no matter how good you can make that AI, it's never going to be as chaotic as just a human being that has lived a
Right.
life. You never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth sometimes,
Yeah.
and that's the exciting part of somebody who's alive.
Yeah.
Now, one question I have as far as when you mentioned like lap dancing and all that, what is the laws pertaining to lap dance? Because it's supposed to be no contact, like a
Right.
female contact with a male. But what if it was a robot?
Right.
Then you're
yeah.
not. You might
Right.
intercourse might or
Be
actual
different.
penetration might
Right.
be legal.
Right. Well, it's the same. It's similar to the ethical question of, well, if it's if it's anime child porn or anime rape, it can be legal because it's anime because
It's
supposedly
fantasy.
yeah,
cartoon.
because the only
Uh-huh.
reason actual pedophilia and stuff isn't legal is because it's harming a child. So if it's not harming anybody, is it legal? Is
Oh,
it
Lord.
ethically legal?
Yeah.
But then
It's
you
still
have
propagating.
right, you're still teaching
child abuse, yeah.
child
Yeah.
abuse. You're still developing
Absolutely.
a sexuality that's attracted to that.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Then we take it into what about an 18-year-old that has a 12-year-old body? Well, then aren't you
Right.
propagating child pornography even
Yeah,
though she's
yeah.
18, she still looks 12?
Right.
You start
Right.
down this road.
Right.
And, where is
Right,
that?
where's that line?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I really think that's what we actually need to be debating instead of all this abortion stuff and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because we are all coming into the same place. We don't want somebody abused.
Right.
The abortion, the people that, you have to have a baby, they don't want the baby abused. The people that have to get an abortion, they don't want the woman abused. It all comes from that place. And
Sure.
we're so busy still fighting that battle. We're not fighting the real ethical battle. Where is that line?
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
and the morality. Morality comes into play. But I was also just thinking, I'm going back, I like these AI prostitutes the more I'm thinking about them. But what happened, because then it becomes the norm. Like, you know how like when they first start, they're very expensive and all of that. Well, over time, they keep making more and more and more, so they're
Yeah.
cheap and cheap and cheap.
Yeah.
And could you imagine like the cheap ones that are not maintained well and then malfunction? So they're like,
point?
let me take your penis. You know, rip it off and
But then you pay extra for that because you never know. Like
Yeah.
a challenge like Russian roulette, like
No, but
ooh,
I'm saying, yeah, right, yeah.
will I get my penis ripped off?
Well, then you think about it. So think about the whole net neutrality thing. Do you know what I mean? So what if they could start selling like human interaction via the internet for much, much higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's really interesting. Really interesting.
And then if it gets too good, if those AIs get too good, how do you know it's an AI and not a human? So you think you're abusing a robot, but you're actually abusing a person.
I know. You throw the bitch in the shower.
All A's.
Would you like me to run you a bath? No, it's okay.
Yeah. I'll pass.
I'll pass.
Have sex with me. Have sex with me. Have sex with
See,
me.
that's the scary part. That's the scary part.
Why do I find it an hysterical sketch coming on?
Like there always needs to be a mark, like a plug-in mark or something in the back, you know, to where you
Yeah.
check to make
Like a
sure
Mattel
that
Like
stamp.
or
Yeah.
a USB
Yeah,
yeah.
jack or something.
has to, has to be something because it'll get to the point to where you won't be able to tell the difference, and then that gets
Yeah.
really scary
Uh-huh.
because it's
Yeah,
a
it's
whole
true,
different,
though,
different
because-
But
abuse
then
than
there would
an actual
also be
person.
the guys that are into like abuse. Oh, that's creepy. That would like to just
yeah.
beat the shit out of it and abuse it. And oh my God,
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yep,
creepy.
horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean that I could see how that would
Right.
feed that even more because there's no repercussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's the
That could-
argument where it's actually better
I'm
to
getting
have
all
an
kinds of
AI
ideas for
person,
scripts.
like if you're into like, killing and choking somebody, then give them a doll to practice on or do instead of a real person, and then maybe they won't, but that's never been proven not to
Yeah.
Or
actually
maybe that
be
will
true.
make it
Yeah.
even more of a frenzy
Yeah.
and more of a desire.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's not choking the life out of it. and-
Right. It's not the same. It's
Ooh, it's like a scary
Yeah.
sci-fi movie.
yeah, that's what
Right.
I'm thinking. That's what I mean by
Yeah.
a script. I'm seeing scripts all
because
over the place
even
here.
if you enjoy a vibrator, it's not really the same as an actual human penis that you're interacting with.
No.
You
it is
know,
not.
and
Yeah,
that's
right.
what'll happen is that he'll know he'll know that it's not a real, so he's not getting that same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because a
Right.
vibrator gets me off much faster.
That's because you know where to put it,
But yeah, no, I hear you.
but not in the freezer.
Just not in the freezer or under hot water.
Yeah.
Well, technology is so fascinating to me, and I think that, just think about like within the last 20 years how much we've advanced.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah, just the
exactly.
cell phones. good
Right,
God.
how
Right.
much we've
And
advanced.
is
but
it
it's like,
good? All good? You
yeah,
know what I mean?
it's like the other
almost
side
too
of
much.
it. Yeah, the other side of it. Yeah, you're right. It is scary. What if stuff does start taking over?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It just depends on where our kinks go and what's the cheapest,
Mm-hmm.
because that's usually what does the market the first is what's cheapest and where is it.
I wonder if
Yeah.
somebody has like a USB fetish.
Oh,
Like, you know what I
probably.
mean?
I'm sure.
Like,
What do
I'm
you mean?
hard time fetish. Like,
I mean, lubricate
Oh, and stick their penis in?
or just
something?
their finger. I don't.
people have
They have to have a
fetishes on
small
weird
penis
shit.
to do
Uh-huh.
a USB port. You have to have a real small penis for that. But I
Yeah,
can
I
see the
was-
pinky
The
or the
pinky.
tongue.
Some people might get off on
yeah,
that.
exactly. That
that'll
might be the
how all
thrill.
the old rock stars are dying now because there's this new thing, masturbating while doing a tongue in a
Instead
computer
of-
port. And we find a bunch of rock stars like, dead, no one
With their
tell.
tongues hanging
Yeah.
out
Oh,
instead of Tide Pods.
instead of Tide Pods.
We'll do the USB port challenge.
I know.
Do oral sex on a USB port and see if you electrocute yourself.
Some idiot might actually
Yeah,
do
I do
that.
not take responsibility for that. I say don't
She's
do
got the
it.
waiver.
I know.
But if you're stupid,
It is not the
Please
opinions
film
of
it
Comedy
and then-
Sex Show.
yeah,
Exactly.
'cause,
That's our disclaimer.
it might be really funny to watch you. So,
Dumbass.
but don't do it. But film it. But don't do it.
Stupid idiot.
But if you are going to do it,
Post it on YouTube, dummy. Like,
Yeah, post it on YouTube.
just stand by that AI.
Yep. Stand
Yeah.
by it. Like, yeah, I like fucking dead eyes.
yeah. I got it on with an AI
Yeah.
prostitute in the back
Yeah.
of an undriven Uber.
Yeah. I'm just saying. If you're fucking a dead eye, you just admit it. Don't try to cover it up. Yeah, I fuck dead eyes.
But you know what? I know this sounds kind of funny, but it would be great for some people who just don't get any interaction with people at all.
Yes.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like some people
Yeah.
who are
Absolutely.
disabled that don't.
And
you know,
they
Right.
need that
And
sexual release. I
introverts
agree.
and people with compulsions and everything like that.
Right.
And that's why prostitution should be legal, because there's a whole bunch of guys that cannot get laid.
Yeah,
and it's,
I agree.
And having an orgasm and having contact with somebody de-stresses you.
It does.
It's
Absolutely.
a healthier thing. And so to deprive them of that because you morally think that I should not be able to sell my skill is wrong. because you're depriving somebody of a healthy something,
Yeah.
of a healthy release.
I like that you said it's a skill.
It is a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when they have problems. Do you know how difficult it is
Yeah.
to actually really get somebody, if they have prostate problems, if they have,
Yeah.
not enough blood gets there, if they have anxiety problems, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
skill.
I
to
can
get them
imagine
to
how
orgasm.
nervous guys get, and it's different. Girls, we can fake it.
Yeah.
Guys,
and it's
you
a
can't.
skill to
Yeah.
interact with somebody too and not
Right.
look like you want to throw up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's a
see,
skill.
I couldn't
See,
do that
I'm
because I'm not
telling you.
I'm terrible at acting.
Oh,
But
Terrible.
I guarantee we got mad skills.
skill.
Mad skills.
I got skill. I got skill.
I have skill, but I also have a very weak stomach. So sometimes I
So
hit.
you, I was gonna say, you will throw up on them.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like I'm very like.
It's funny. I've always had really good gag control, actually.
Have you? I have
I'm pretty
enormous
good.
tonsils.
But
Not
what's so
that
weird,
makes sense.
but what's so weird is I'm usually very good, but once it starts, then it's on. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You gotta be. Yeah.
So what is your trick? So give us. We need.
I try to think of something else.
Really?
Yeah, I'll just try to.
Puppies, rainbow.
Yeah,
But sometimes they want that gagging sound, so you just go with it.
yeah. A lot of guys like that.
yeah,
So yeah, it
And they like
works.
the sloppiness.
Yeah.
And as long as I control things, I'm good. Yeah. But if he's like
But I
shoving
kind of
it
let
in and I
them.
can't breathe
I let
or
them
something,
think they're controlling it.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Yeah.
Little
But you
chopping
always
from the
keep.
bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you always keep like your hand there. Like a blockage of some sort. You know how deep that he can go. So you do the fingers. Okay, one finger, two finger deep or
Yeah.
something.
Yes,
So you
yes.
know it's okay. It's like, oh, he's a 3 finger. He's got nothing.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So
I'm
how?
gagging,
Okay,
I'm
I have to
gagging.
ask you though. Like, how much faking did you have to do when you were
That's a good
using your
question.
skills? When you were being skillful?
A lot, because most of the time the guys bore me because they're boring. They're like Trump. They don't have any. They either think they're porno and have no skill, because porno wouldn't be bad if there was skill to it. But if
Yeah.
you're just banging, that's not skill.
Yeah.
Or they just bored me because they were just not interesting to look at or had an interesting personality. But I would say at least 30%, maybe a little bit more, had something to where I was interested and
Where you
excited
could get
by.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because that's what I was going to say, because in actuality, it's not about you.
Right,
And you're
right.
what you want, it's
Right.
about them and what they want.
But I'm so much better when it is
About me.
Yeah,
me.
when it
Yeah,
flows, yeah.
Yeah, and when
I
I'm
hear
enjoying
ya.
myself, I'm
I
so
hear
much
ya.
better. And I'm more lenient.
Really?
Like, guys could get away with a little bit more.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Have you ever had a call that reminded you of somebody and you were like, I can't do
Yes.
it?
Well, no, I did it. But the whole time I'm like, did I fuck him once in a bar? Or like,
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
how funny.
I somehow think that I've met this person, but I'm just not sure. Yeah.
Have you ever oh my God, I remember this cock, but I have no recollection of the face. I've done that before. I swear to
because
God.
I have.
I swear to God, I'm like, I remember this cock.
I have a bad memory.
Hey, Mr. Freckles, how you doing?
Well, I wasn't really paying attention
Yeah.
to the face.
Well, yeah. Well, if it had like a certain mark, I might be able to remember because it'll be like if it had warts on it, like those skin tags or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this one grossed me out last time I was here.
That's
Condom.
funny. That's funny.
Definite condom.
That's funny.
2 condoms. This is a 2 condom night.
Bring the tarp.
Get the saran wrap out, like, yeah, you don't get to touch me at all. A show on saran wrap and 2 condoms.
Actually, saran wrap is part of my repertoire. We'll talk about that next show.
Okay.